Hello, my name is Bill Ethridge. I got involved in politics about 4 years ago. Most of my life before that had been an ordinary life of go out to work, spend a bit of time with my mates. I enjoyed my football and cricket. I like to go out for a drink with the lads, bit of socialising, enjoyed my fun. I also worked in industry, manufacturing industry, for about 20 years as a salesman and a sales manager. During that time, things changed, and not just that I got older, but other things changed as well. Gradually over that period of time, when I started with British Steel, we were world leaders for technology, the style of approach that we had. We were an outstanding organisation. Over that time, branches closed, and the stainless steel division that I was part of got sold. Since then, I moved from company to company, still involved in stainless steel manufacturing, and finding the market shrinking, ever shrinking. And then after a while, I worked for a German company called Krupp. And one of the jobs that I did there was that I would liaise with our German colleagues and go over and take people on visits to see their sites in Dusseldorf and Dortmund. Now, when they saw our sites in the Midlands, they were no more than a gigantic glorified warehouse. When they went out to Germany, they would see state-of-the-art equipment, machinery that didn't even require people there on the shop floor next to it, and warehouses so big that people cycled across them to get from one place to the other. Steel that was never touched by human hand was lifted by suction pads from one part of the warehouse to another. Fantastic, amazing technological achievements and great steps forward. And all of that at a time when the British manufacturing sector had been scaled down, equipment ripped out, companies closed, branches closed, people put on the dole. All of that during the period when we're supposedly benefiting from our relationship with the European Union. Well, we might have some jobs in the UK from dealing with the European Union, but what kind of jobs are they? They're not the skilled jobs that I was involved with when I first started work. They're now more warehousing, and while there's still some great small manufacturing companies and some good plant around the country, things have changed out of all recognition during that time. So I was aware that things were changing. But then when in 2008 we had the crunch and the recession began, simultaneously with the outrageous MP's expenses scandal, I lost my job, and I decided it was time to do something about things. I was sick of sitting at home, looking at the television, wanted to throw things at it, vent my anger, and not actually do anything about it. Well, if there's a problem, if there's something you're unhappy with, I think it behoves you to get involved and try and put that right. At that time, my opinion was that we desperately needed to get rid of the Labour government, which through overspending, poor management, and its whole emphasis on engineering change within our society had destroyed many of the things that had made Britain great, and had certainly contributed towards the downfall of our economy. So I joined the Conservative Party. I felt that was the right thing to do. I felt there was a way that we could improve matters. Not only stood as a council candidate for them, but I actually took in paid employment for them as a campaign executive and worked on the 2010 election campaign. During that time, I got to meet a great many senior politicians, including William Hague, George Osborne, David Cameron and Ed Balls, and of course I was involved in the battle in Dudley against Ed Balls' sidekick, Ian Austin MP. So I met these people and I got to see what they were all about. And I realised very rapidly that not one of them, in my view, was motivated by anything other than personal gain, desire for office, desire for power. They had no thought whatsoever for the people they were supposed to represent, and they had no ideological drive, no real feeling of anything that gave them passion to change things for the better. They had no radicalism, no new ideas. All they wanted to do was who was going to have the best marketing campaign would therefore get across. Who had the most airbrushed photograph would therefore become Prime Minister. Who could spend the most money on the campaign would win. And what happened, as we all know, was that nobody won. The most unpopular government, and certainly the most unpopular Prime Minister in living memory, and the Conservative Party couldn't win. They couldn't win because they had nothing to offer. Nothing new, certainly. They might have had some new smiles, some new marketing gimmicks, but they didn't have any new ideas, any new policies, and they certainly didn't have the people behind them. Since that point, my disillusionment with the Conservative Party had grown so much that I decided there was no future for me with them, and I got involved with UKIP. Over the years, both campaigning for the Conservatives and UKIP, the main thing that I hear from people is, I don't do politics. There's no point. You're all the same. Well, I intend to prove categorically that we aren't all the same. Not everybody who aspires to be a politician or who is a politician is dishonourable. Not everybody who does it is out for themselves or the money, but a lot of them are. I aim to show that I am not one of those people, and the people who work with me in UKIP are not like that. We are driven by ideological and practical aims. We want to make Britain great. And we don't do this because we think we can find a safe seat somewhere. There isn't a safe seat for UKIP. Every seat is a fight, every seat is a battle, and we get outspent and we get less coverage in the media than everyone else. But that doesn't matter. We know we're right, we're passionately committed to it. We are amongst the people, we live next door to you, we're in the pub with you, we're in the shops with you. We're not cloistered away in Westminster. We're amongst you, and certainly in the Dudley area, where I'm honoured to be the prospective parliamentary candidate for UKIP, we are very much of the people. We know exactly what you go through. And in order to prove that we aren't all in it for the same thing, not all politicians want big expense accounts or grandiose titles or the kudos that comes with it. I can hereby say to all of you who watch this that when the time comes for me to stand to be an MP, if I'm fortunate enough to oust our sitting Labour MP, I won't be claiming for a second house. I won't be claiming for gigantic colour televisions, plasma screens, etc. In fact, I won't be claiming for anything. It's a job of work. And what I will do is I will travel to Westminster, and if I have to stay over, then I have to stay over out of my own pocket. And if I have to travel back, I will pay for that myself, because that's my job. And I don't see why people should pay for me to have a second home in order to do a job that I've put myself forward for. To be a politician is to represent the people who you live with from your area, and it's an honour. At a time like this of national crisis, it's even more of an honour to be trusted to go forward and to try and make a difference. I will go forward with my every vigour and every part of me to try and make a difference. I will not change my house or address. You won't see me in a new fancy car, but what you will see is me fighting and battling on behalf of Dudley and the people of Dudley on their everyday concerns, and you'll see me doing it every day of the week to every ounce of my effort. Not all politicians are the same. Not everyone who's involved in politics is the same. I assure you and give you my word, this person is not the same. Thank you.